Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother. I'd like to welcome you all back to my channels. YouTube is Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self. On TikTok, it is 1974 Enlightened Soul, and I'm also on my Facebook. Um, Today I'm talking about love and what love. This is how I see it, the way I perceive it, and if you're not familiar with what my channel is about, to channel spirit teachings of going within self and the description, and you might understand things a little more. Um, there's a lot of solar activity taking place right now, and it's actually causing a lot of havoc on our bodies, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And these past days have been pretty trippy and not so fun. I just got done having an outburst, a very big one. Um, uh, and the person I had the outburst with, they think that I went and had the outburst with them because I was coming on live, which I was planning on coming on live beforehand. I was just like, I was asked a question, and right now, like, I get a lot of irritations because I know I'm not only feeling my own emotions, but as others know within the collective, we know that we're experiencing each other's emotions and feelings, and we're experiencing solar flares, and it's actually doing a lot of clearing within our bodies through whether it be trauma, through things happening, abandonment issues, uh, what have you. We're dealing with a lot of feminine movements, a lot of different things that it all pertains to love and what is love. Okay, a lot of love is not a word. People use it as a word. It's like, oh, I love you. Well, okay. Anybody can say the words "I love you," but it's the actions, it's the effort, it's the connection, it's the oneness, it's the compassion, it's the understanding, it's the communication. And like I get people that tell me that just told me that I'm judgmental. It's not that I'm judgmental. I'm feeling other people's energies. And because I'm asking a question, because I'm trying to understand. Is that understanding of how we can treat each other the way that we do, how we can deprive each other of affection, of understanding, of love, of compassion. And there's a lot of that happening in the world. And when it's more so a feminine energy that will stand up and kind of confront a masculine energy that doesn't want to have feelings. Because there are times when, yes, sometimes I feel like I'm bitter. There are times when I feel like I just want to totally shut off my humanity so that I don't feel. But that's not the answer. I may look like a basket case, but it's like we don't know what's happening in each other's life. And I know that I'm experiencing other forms of spirit because it's been going on since, infinity. We're in the awakening, and the awakening, it's not about, like, it's seeing how we're being controlled. But the actual awakening is the awakening within here, the awakening to yourself. And people don't understand me. But you know, if you watched my videos, you might actually understand things a little more. I don't want to be screaming. I don't want to be crying. I don't, I want to be having fun. I don't, it's not something so much that you can control when you are an empath and you feel others' energy. And that's why a lot of time I just don't want to be around people. But at the same time, I love being around people. If I could heal everyone, I would want to heal everyone. Pienso por allá, tú deberías ser un mutuña. If people don't know how to take me, it's because you don't take the time. You don't take the time to hear people like myself and what they're explaining, what they're trying to put out there of how people can heal themselves. It's like a person gets tired. They get tired of hearing people complain about their problems, physical problems, or like their mental health problems. They get tired of people hearing it. It's not because they don't care. It's not because they don't love the person. It's not because they don't have compassion for the person. It's just they get tired of telling them and explaining how to come out of the rut of suffering. That a system tells you, oh, well, we're supposed to have suffering. No, you're not. Suffering it's a learning curve to be able to bring you out of it, to help others come out of it. That's what we say about the new earth, the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is finding that love within yourself so that you can have the love and compassion for others. And there are times when, like, with some people, I just like all they do is complain and say about other people. I might ask a question like asking this person, like, why are you always dressed in black? And there's certain aspects of them that, and I know it's not the same, and I know the person's not the same. I know that. I was looking through my wedding photos last night, and we're divorced, but I was looking through them to figure out like what was there, what was the connection that was there. It's not I'm trying to bring that relationship back together in that sense, but I was trying to understand it. Where was I in that time? Where were we in that time? And looking through all my wedding photos, it was just constant. It was orbs everywhere. I'm not looking for people's sympathy or anything like that, because I've gone through my stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming up because it's a lot of stuff that never got addressed and never really got talked about and never got released. So it puts it in your body, and then it becomes a fury. It's like, and that's when you start that you just that's when people start having a lack of empathy, a lack of feeling for others, because it's just so overwhelming sometimes. And you're trying to understand, like, and it's that part for me. It's like, why should I have any empathy? Why should I even care? But the thing is that's the problem. People don't want to care about anybody. And the biggest part is we don't want to look at ourselves, because I didn't want to look at myself. And this person, they like and I've been dealing with it. They say because somebody come around, and they haven't been around since they left. They haven't been around. We were talking about like chaos around the yard or what have you. And they said that I brought them here. I didn't per se bring them here. I wasn't the one that said yes. And it's the same as another person that said, well, you brought them around me. It's like, wait a minute. It might have been around, but I wanted nothing more to do with them. And it's like, that person brought them around, but blames me for it. It's like, seriously? And then it's like, like, were these people parts of us? And there were parts of us that were trying to point something out to us? Because love is an action. Love is an intimacy. Love is a feeling, emotion. And it's been put out as a taboo that if you show any emotion, especially a woman when feminine energy gets to the point where they actually had enough. And then we finally stand up and start saying something about it to take our power back. And we're told that we're overreacting. We're told that we're crazy. Or you're just too sensitive. It's like, is it that I'm too sensitive? Or is it because you're just too much in your ego? Because I've had relationships. And there's parts of me that feel like, why do I just not like hate men or have disdain for all men or masculine energies? And it's because I know they're not all the same. Because there are men that actually are balanced, are comfortable with their feminine side and comfortable with their masculine side, and they treat women equally. I'm not saying that this person has never done good things for me, but in the same aspect of doing good things for me, it was like it was being pulled back. And that's how I felt throughout my whole life. And a lot of other people have too. And I know that my own family has felt like that themselves. Through different parts of stuff. Because that's usually what causes families to break down and fall apart. Because there's always usually that masculine energy within the family. But it's the part of knowing that that person themselves had gone through something or had been taught a certain way. Like I was at school the other day. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, the other day. And I went in the library and I was reading a few things. And I was walking along and I got drawn to this book. It's Free to Believe. Because a lot of concepts, okay, a lot of churches or what have you, church affiliations, or like they say that God is a him, God is the Father, or he, or what have you. Well, God is actually, spirit is actually both a man and a woman, because it's masculine, feminine energy. And that's why they call it with the child, because the child within the mother, father, child. And the child's not male nor female, it's both. So we get the conception that all like God is just a male, so everything is the figure of a male. When it's like, wasn't it said that Mary was a virgin but gave birth to Jesus, Yeshua, however you refer to him? There was no father of the child because, in that sense, it was like she manifested a baby within herself. It was a stingray. I don't know how many people have seen it on TikTok, a stingray. It was in an aquarium with the rest of them were sharks. Okay. And somehow the stingray became impregnated. It's a rare occurrence, but it happens. So Mary had Jesus by herself. There was no father. And they say that Jesus being God, child of God, some say. Okay, well, if then the mother embraced the masculine and feminine, and then you have the child, which becomes the Holy Trinity, the oneness within yourself. But those are things that don't want to get out there because it was actually the teachings of how to heal yourself, not about somebody walking up to you and actually just touching you. Because we can give healings, but it's you who accepts them. I might come off as a bitch or like a crazy lady, and I don't care because I'm proud to be a crazy lady because it means that I actually feel things on a very deep level, which can be very overwhelming to some people. But when you are very empathic and you are connected with the oneness, there's going to be times when you are going to feel like you're going freaking crazy. You're going to feel like you want to just end it all because I've been there. I just wanted it over. I didn't want to experience it no more. I didn't want to feel it no more. But I never lost love. Sometimes I feel like it just wants to come out of my mouth, the words, I hate you. And it has sometimes. But it's not that I actually hate the person. I just hate the situation and I hate watching them. Being stuck. I hate hearing people say about, like, I got a pain in my back or I got a pain in my shoulder. And not really looking out there and actually seeing the people that have physical or mental or emotional or spiritual things very intensely. Some people out there, like they're suffering from an extreme chronic illness, like one that is really has them in wheelchairs or has them that they're not. I'm not saying that this person doesn't have pain. I'm saying that they pray to God and they ask for help. And then when the help gets sent to them, they deny it or they don't believe it or they fight it. It's like, why are you asking for help? It's like I said before, that even if the truth was right in front of you, you can say that you're ready. But there's a difference between saying that you're ready and using words as actually being ready and taking action to better yourself, better your life, better your situation. People say, like, people think that to be humble, it's about you have to have nothing. But it's about seeing your worth, because God does not tell you that you cannot have nothing. It's a system. Because if you look at universal laws, it's the manifestation, it's the abundance. But see, we go out and we buy things thinking that that's going to fill the void, which the void that we're trying to fill is the love aspect of it. Because we all feel like, because we feel like we're missing something. Or the anxiety keeps us feeling like we have to bring more things in, opposed to realizing that it's not about bringing more things in. It's because every time you bring like more things in that aspect, to fill an anxiety, to fill a void, you're actually creating more. It's the part of being able to just like let go. I used to was holding on to a lot of things and saying, oh, well, I'll need it this time, or I'll want it or need it, or what have you, and not wanting to let things go. We're holding on to old things. And when we're holding on to old things, we're actually stunting our own growth, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so, like, to me, sexually is physical. I connect with people on a very deep level. And I've tried telling people, like, especially the ones that, like, their family or what have you, and they want to, and some want to shut me down. They don't like me talking in a different language. It's like, why? Whether you can understand it or not, it's part of who I am. It's my spirit. It's what makes me happy. It's what brings me joy. It's like, do you like people telling you that you have to suppress yourself and who you are just to make them happy? Because I have to tell you, if you feel like everybody else has to suppress themselves so you can be happy, then I have to say you're extremely selfish. And not in a good way. So, really? This is a spirit to spirit. And that spirit knows who it's going towards. Like, I see somebody like guessing my age. Well, in all honesty, I really don't care how old you think I am, because, like, in all honesty, I'm going to be 50. But I know that I don't look no 56. That's just to throw, like, if some people, they want to try to throw out things that will lower, or try to have other people lower their self-esteem, because it helps them to feel better about themselves, or feel more superior. Well, if you come in somebody's channel and you're just all worried about guessing someone's age and not about what they're bringing forward, then I guess, it's the wrong channel. And there's lots of people out on TikTok that are going on and saying, here, let me guess your age. Because age is just a number, and it shouldn't matter someone's age. I have had a real hard time wanting to be with anyone because from the time I was a child, I was always hurt by a male role model or a male. But it didn't stop me from caring about the person. It didn't stop me from loving these people within my family and what have you. I'm past that. So, you want to tell me to chill? Seriously? What are you, my ex-husband? Decidido today. I know. Today. Decidido today. Oh, I know what they're doing. You have no idea who you're telling to shut up. Seriously. I'm very connected with spirit. So, if you want to come into somebody's channel and you want to try to bully them or you want to troll them, I have to say, go do some inner work. Because if that you have nothing better to do with your time but to come in and tell people to shut up on their own platform, seriously. Because if somebody tells me to shut up, I'm just going to talk all the more. I'm not going to send the same vibes back to you that people want to send out at me, because that's just called karma. Because you try hurting me, you're only hurting yourself. Don't like what I have to say? Don't come into my channel. I didn't ask you in. I didn't invite you in. You chose to be here. I don't look for likes. I don't look for subscribers. I don't look for money, and I don't look for gifts. I come in here to help people grow, to enlighten people. And when somebody goes into somebody else's channel to troll them or try to make them feel less than what they are, that's part of the problem. And that's a lack of love or empathy for other people and how other people feel. So I actually feel for you because something tells me that you're dealing with something yourself, just like somebody in my life that wants to tell me to shut up because they don't want to deal with their own shit. All I can do is send you love and, you know, Say, I hope that one day you actually see within yourself and don't feel like you got to go in and tell someone else to shut up on their own podcast or videos. So anyways, with the God thing, it's always about having the male as the figure. So it becomes a part where women feel like they're left out of the equation. They say Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Well, the Holy Spirit is the mother because the mother is also the father and the child. And we have Mother's Day coming up on Saturday. I'm a woman. I'm a mother. I have what it would be step grandchildren, but they're my grandchildren because they're part of my son's life. So if you go and you talk to or you treat another, a woman or like that or what have you, I have to say, like, really, do you treat your mother like that? Do you treat your sister like that? Because if you do, I have to say, seriously, they say shame is one of the biggest things that lowers vibration. But you know, if you treat your mother like a dirtbag, like a piece of shit, like she's beneath you, you really need to shake your head. Because the mother is the one that actually physically pushed you into this world or had her stomach cut open to bring you into this world. The mother fed you. The mother kept you safe, warm. And I know in some cases there's been trauma to women carrying children. What we experience in the physical world when we're pregnant, our child actually experiences it too, because it's what we're feeling. So whatever a mother feels when she's pregnant, the baby feels it too. Even in the exterior, in the physical world, when that baby comes out, the child still feels what the mother feels. And that's the empathic part of it. Like, as angry as I get at some people, as much as sometimes I just want to rip from a whole new arsehole. And that's both masculine and feminine, because sometimes, like, we can get too much in our feminine and feel weaker than what we really are, because it's like we become beat down, and it's taught from the system. It's taught from the bully system, which is the true sins, as I stated before, because sins are systems integrated into society, but we're told that we're the sinner because we're going by a system. It's the part of, like, things are love and light, but you know, there's, like, they say about darkness, okay? The darkness is our traumas, the stuff that we're holding back, the stuff that we're feeling, and it's coming out. So everything is like, things are coming to the surface. So that's why sometimes it's like we're at each other's throat, but it's part of the spirit to spirit, and that's what I teach about. It's spirit to spirit. It's like you may feel the same towards me, or you may feel like you want to come in and judge me, but it's actually spirit to spirit. It's spirits having a history with one another, and the spirit is actually both the dark and the light experiencing itself. But we have a hard time comprehending that. It was actually in class the other day, because I'm doing Stars and Galaxies, and I had somebody have a conversation with me a couple of weeks ago, saying that, like, a lot, like, we are the stars. We are the stars. We are created from stardust. We are the stars. And there's like white stars and like there's colored stars. And when I was learning this, I actually wrote stuff down, and it was really like, because it was clicking on me, because the way they say that a star, what the things that stars have within them and what have you, it's explained in the human body. The rainbow are the chakras. Okay, they have the rainbow, and it's actually it's upside down. And what people don't like, some people don't realize that the rainbow is actually round. That's why when you look up at the sun, sometimes you see what appears to be a rainbow around the sun. It's because it's round, and we only see a percentage of it, but it is upside down because it forms the chakra. And they say the world is upside down right now, and it's flipping it. But it's actually not so much physically flipping the world, the earth in itself, but it's flipping our own chakras. It's flipping our own beliefs, going from the fear up to the knowing, up to the Christ consciousness. It becomes the connection, and the heart is the biggest connection, because the heart is the center. Right? It's the center of the universe, because you are the universe. Heaven, hell, earth, or sun. Because the sun is the heart. It immerses the love energy. It immerses, like we're getting a lot of solar flares. Okay, think of the sun as the heart. Okay, it's an experience. It's experiencing something within itself. So it's expanding, and people say one thing or another, but that's what it is. It's that center of the universe is experiencing something, and it's sending it to the parts of the earth, but it's actually going throughout the entirety of the universe. So when it happens, it's actually going through the entirety of the human vessel. We're all revolving around each other, but we're all revolving around the sun, so we're all revolving around the heart. But some keep us mind trapped. So when you're mind trapped, it blocks off the heart. And whoever gave me the gift, I want to thank you. It's that part of love hurts. Okay, if you watch Once Upon a Time, okay, you had the Queen of Hearts. Well, the Queen of Hearts ripped out her heart because she felt love was weakness. But love's not weakness. Love is actually strength. And that's why they keep us in a weakened state and fighting against one another, so that we can't come back to our heart space. And then the ones that do come back to their heart space, we're told we're bleeding hearts. Care Bear stare. And it's not being cocky. And I know some people get confused by the way things are with me that comes out and what have you. And sometimes people think it's kind of a contradiction. It's like, yeah, it can be sometimes, because the world is a contradiction right now. It's all coming out and it's sorting through itself. Right now, it's the heart chakra. And in the movie, in the series Once Upon a Time, Snow White's daughter, and Snow White's daughter, the queen was going to rip out Snow White's heart. And instead, Snow White's daughter jumps in front, and the queen reaches in to grab the heart. When she tries to bring it out, she can't, because she's protected her heart. You can't. It's her heart is love. It's strength, and that's what she says. It is strength. It's not weakness. And when the queen was dying in the series, her daughter, the evil queen, brings back her heart, puts it in, but it had been too late. And she realized that all she needed was her heart and her daughter, her child. Because love is strength. And yes, we do feel like we get our heart broken. And I totally understand that. And I know that that's where, with this person, where a lot of my rage is coming from, because it's like I'm not actually just feeling myself per se, as I'm feeling what the collective is feeling as a whole. It's like, if you don't understand me, before you start throwing shade on me and calling me names and saying I'm this and that, take the time to actually get to know all parts of me. Because it's okay to be vulnerable. It doesn't mean that it's weakness, because vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is actually a strength too. Because you're allowing yourself to experience it. You're allowing yourself to release it. It's the systems, it's the programming. It's the misconception, the limited beliefs that keep us thinking that we're not supposed to feel nothing. Because when you bottle it up inside, well, what ends up happening is it comes out as a fury. It comes out as chaos. Confirmation. I know I'm not an easy person to be around. Like, fuck, man, I'm not an easy person for myself to be around. And that's why I say sometimes I just want to run from myself, but I can't, because I got to deal with myself. But there's some parts where it's like, the heart has been hurt so much for people that when it does come out, we get told we're overreacting. It's like, no, we're not overreacting. We finally got to that boiling point where it is now being pushed up, and it's going to come out like fucking vomit. I just heard somebody say verbal diarrhea. Well, however you prefer, it's actually getting it out of the body, opposed to keeping it inside yourself and living in excruciating pain because you want to say something, but you're afraid to say something because of the fear of the outcome. It's that part of your inner child is screaming for help. And we just keep telling it, no, you cannot be heard. It's like, wait a minute, we need to allow our inner child to be heard. We need to allow it to come out, and we have to be the adult of our own inner child. It's like standing up for that inner child that had been suppressed, or feeling a lack of affection, a lack of love. And a lot of people can relate to that. They've grown up in environments where they didn't have that. And then they grow up and they're told they're psychopaths or they're uh, this way or like bipolar or schizophrenia or any type of label they want to put on you, because people forget that we do this to each other, but we don't want to take responsibility for it, because then it means that we have to look at our own feelings. Why are we like, why do we become so bitter? Because we grow up in a system that creates it, and then we're not taught how to not experience the system in a way that is limiting. Because manifestation is real, and you can manifest negative things in your life, you can manifest positive things in your life. It's all in where your mindset is. I don't I don't try to manifest small things, because to me the small things, like they say, it leads to bigger, it can lead to bigger things. Small things to me are just limited things. I don't go get my nails done. Once in a while I'll go get my hair done. Don't go to a spa, because it's like, yes, I need things for myself. I need to pamper myself. Being with myself, getting in the tub, or things like that, that's pampering myself, because personally I can't. I've gone like maybe twice in my life and got my nails done, and not long after I got them done, I just peeled them off. Like the stick-on nails. I had somebody put them on me one day, and holy crap, it was like making my fingers feel awful. And I just took them, and let me tell you, it freaking hurt, because the glue was just fresh, so it just glued in, and no time went by. It was like, get it off. Right now, I like my nails will grow some, and I bite them off. Do I think nails are nice? Yeah, I think nails look nice, and I let my nails grow sometimes. But myself, it's just more or less putting into something that is, yes, I need to be selfish sometimes. But to me, getting my nails done is not that, because it's not something that I love to do. Lately, I've been taking my money and I've been putting it on a project that I've been working on. And I get frustrated because I feel like it's not going to go, it's not happening fast enough, or I get that fear that it's not going to happen, even though I know that whether it takes me my whole life, it's going to happen one day. What do I do for fun? In all honesty, nothing lately. Gone swimming a few times, but really nothing. And that's not why I'm going to come off the way I do. It's because I'm doing a lot of shadow work. I'm doing a lot of inner work. I mean, because the way because of the way I dress, some appear that I'm prissy. I play in dirt. I like being a kid. I have sometimes with the kids something that I call my ex-husband, he actually called it caveman night. Give the kids spaghetti with like spaghetti sauce and what have you, and they can eat with their hands or they can just put their face in like just caveman. No utensils. It's their choice. And I like doing it. I like rolling down the bank like a kid. Being a kid and being an adult both have their good points. And it's like finding that balance because just because you're an adult doesn't mean you have to not be a kid anymore. I skip, I dance, I act like a child sometimes, even taking a temper tantrum. But is it a temper tantrum or is it just that, we get to a boiling point and we don't know how else to deal with it because it becomes so intense. Because when a child is taking a temper tantrum, sometimes it seems like it's to get what they want, but it's they're experiencing something on a whole different level, and that's why it escalates. Well, I'll say one thing. Somebody just said, or they're spoiled, and they'll say one thing. Well, if they're spoiled, that's the parents' fault because the kid's spoiled and acting like that. Because if they take a temper tantrum and they get what they want all the time in certain situations like that, then that's on the parent. So if the kid keeps doing it and like you keep giving them stuff because they're having a temper tantrum instead of just like sticking to your guns and saying no and let them take their temper tantrum and sometimes even show them what they look like. Because my youngest son used to take temper tantrums. So this one day when he was taking a temper tantrum, I just stood and went like, I just did the exact same thing they were doing. Whether they keep screaming or not, just keep doing the same thing they're doing. Annoy them, like if you feel that that's what it's doing to you. Like it's sometimes you gotta to beat them like that, join them instead of physically or giving them what they want. And when I did that, after I was done doing it, I went like this and I said, now, how did I look? Or didn't that look silly? And he's just like, walks off to his room and goes about his business. But the temper tantrum stopped and he still didn't get his own way. Every parent gives their child their own way sometimes, depending on the circumstances. My youngest son actually bit me in the nose one time because of the video game. I was just glad somebody laughed. Well, it wasn't funny at the time. He was in his room with his video, like had his video game, and he wasn't allowed to play the video game live. Like when he was told to get off, he had to get off because he used to, like if he got violent, he do whatever he was using or watching that was violent, he gets access to that. And this one day, I went downstairs, to tell him, okay, it's time to shut the game off because supper's going to be ready soon. So I went upstairs and like finished getting supper, and I come down. I told him, okay, come on, game goes off. He was kind of like having a little fit. I walked over and I shut the game off. And he started taking a temper tantrum, and I started like going up the hallway with his controllers and that. And he'd come running up and stuff like that, and acted like he was going to bite me. And I said to him, I said, hey, I said, you bite me. I said, and you watch and see what happens. So what did he do? He jumped up on me and he bit me in the nose. So when he bit me in the nose, did I get aggressive? I got not so much aggressive as I took his arm and I rustled him up the stairs and I set him in the chair and told him, now you stay there. He replied, you told me to bite you. Like, wow. And he was 12. So it's that part of, like, this isn't to throw shame on him or anything like that. Saying, like, I know what parents experience. And like there's and others are saying like you give him like everything and you need to stop giving him things or doing things for him or what have you. And it's like I look at them as if to say, like, have you stopped? So it's not like you can't blame somebody else for the same thing that you're doing. And it's not about that. It's like really giving them what they want in that sense. Because it's not about giving it. It's not about me giving into it. It's something that I choose to. But this other person, they give in. And that's what they've always done. And then they wonder why this person is the way they are. Or we wonder why our children are the way they are. I used to always help people. I still help people. But I've learned to set boundaries on figuring out and realizing whether or not somebody is just like doesn't care about me at all and is just using me and manipulating me. But it doesn't mean that I still don't send them good wishes and hope that they have their best life. But it's like anyone. Sometimes we go through hell to get to where we need to be. And for some people, I am learning their patience because, it's time for the lip service to stop. It's time for the posing to stop. And some people may look at me and think, oh, you're fake, you're this, you're that. Well, no, I'm actually not fake. I'm the real thing. I didn't learn this anywhere. I actually died and came back. And when I died and come back, I still sort of started living the same kind of life until like I come back and had another experience. And they say, blinded by the light, that song, or the light within you ignites. And it just shoots out. It becomes the consciousness opening up in that sense. It's that aspect of knowing that I'm going to say goddess because it has the father and the mother and child within it. And some may not like that. It's true. God represents male. and then the female. So it's that part of like, if you take offense to it, in all honesty, you shouldn't take offense to it. Someone in their full-blown masculine, or have been taught that God is just the father, the man, or him, or he. And then you have some like feminine energies that feel like it's all the mother. But now in actuality, it's both. But it's actually all three. It's heaven, hell, and earth, like the middle, the inner earth. Because they say hell is the inner earth, but like it's like, are we on top of the earth? Because they say like there's an inner earth. They just found out that 70 kilometers down in the sea, in the earth, there's like a whole other ocean that's bigger than like 3 times the size of all the oceans on earth put together. A lot of people talk about inner earth. Don't knock them. Like, seriously. Because I've had visions where it was really freaky because it was like I was going down a hill in sort of in the forest going down a hill. And then just on the side of me, I could actually see what appeared to be another earth. And it was just kind of like a few different colors. Yeah, but I went down into this, it's like I was going inside. And then there was like a cabin down there. And then it was like I was seeing my family. And then when I come back up to come out of it was like I was coming through the doors of a warehouse. You know, they have the like think of the ancient teachings, the ancient structures, what have you. Okay, they had a structure where it was like this. It looked like a door. There was no way to it. It was that aspect of the portal. And when you become connected with like finding love, like actual love, not just a word, but an actual feeling. And some people think that like I read a thing and they said only 4% of people are going to come to actual full-blown love, which that's actually not true. Because everybody can if they want to. Some of us are still in hardness. Like I'm still dealing with some hardness within myself with regards to masculine energies. Because it's like, it was that aspect of like, don't tell me what to do. And then for a while, because I had lost my self-esteem completely and I wasn't well, and it was a physical unwell, but it was creating mental health unwellness and spiritual wellness. But it's a part of no matter what we're going through, it's to keep going because you can heal. You can feel like I said other times, I would look in a mirror and I would say I hated myself. say I hate you. Well, I'll give you an example. I had a guy, he was a guy friend, and I'm gonna say he was married. He and I was drunk one night. It lowers your ambitions. I'm not saying like I'm not to blame, and we became intimate. And then the next time, I didn't want to. They ended up something ended up happening. Not so much because I wanted to, and it kind of was a fear, a force. We've like kind of pushed into it. And after it happened, when they left, I completely let go of myself. And I went and looked in the mirror and I just said, I fucking hate you. I hate you. And then I went and dyed my hair because I didn't like who I see. It's like in 2020 when it started, I'm just having an epiphany. It's that part of was I tearing myself apart? Or that aspect of myself that I hated, but I had to learn to love it. And I know a lot of people can relate to this. That's why I come forward because when we're telling our story, if it makes us cry, it's not always ourselves so much crying as it is on a collective basis, a spiritual basis within your entirety of yourself. Yeah, I showed up. I said, yeah, it's like right now I'm dealing with, working, not dealing with, I'm working through things with my masculine, my own masculine. But now, before that happened, I had somebody do something they took was, and I don't care if other people are embarrassed by me coming forward. I was giving oral pleasure, and they took and they slammed my head right down over me, and that fucking hurt. So I bit him, and I don't feel shame or anything like that for coming on here and bearing my soul and like explaining that I can relate. I've had a lot of good things happen in my life, a lot of things that I accomplished, and I will be putting that good stuff to use when it's time, putting it to use right now, because if you it's being your own leader and teaching others how to be their own leader. Yeah. I mean, things are just, it's pouring. It's just been like, holy crap. And to be honest, like like I said, I've ripped two doors off the hinges these, these past year. So, and I actually almost put my fist through a door. When I don't take it, it's not out on people, and not not out on people, but it's a part of you start shaking inside, and it becomes physical, and that's where the rage or the anger comes from, and that's where it ends up like things happen. It's, did I lose control in that sense? To some degree, you can consider it as losing control, but I was still in self control because I knew exactly what I was doing. Just, I didn't quite know that, like, it was like, you know, don't fucking lock me in and don't lock me out. The journey is not always easy. For some, it just goes very smooth, but it's that part, like, we're all trying to, we're getting shifted. Some of us are not even feeling a thing. And that's because others are taking on that stuff to make it help them to take it on so they can make that shift. Why or how do I choose my topics? Through life experiences. Do I pick a fight to do it? No one would perceive or would say or think that I do, but I was planning to do this beforehand, and I just asked a question and then it went from there. It wasn't to get anything going. It's like the reason why the world is struggling with things is because nobody wants to talk about anything. They don't want to sort through it. We just want to point fingers at other people other than ourselves. But it's that remembering that when you're pointing one finger at someone else, you're pointing the other three back at yourself. But the hardest thing is looking at ourselves and finding love for ourselves. And that's, love is the feeling. Love is the action. And that's why you get this long labor. And that's why you have a lot of women and other masculine, like men with their feminine energy coming up and saying, like, you know, we agree with them. The biggest part is the system. It's been suppressed when actually at one time masculine and feminine energies were considered to be equal to one another. No one was superior over the other because they worked together as a unit, as a oneness. They worked together as both being the mother and father parent. And it was like communication. Like, say, if your kid comes up and we tell our kids, oh, well, go ask your father. Well, no, go ask your mother. So then that's when the child starts playing one against the other because they see that they can. Because one will say, sometimes one will say, well, go ask your mother or go ask your father. And then when one gives an answer that the other one didn't want them giving, well, it creates friction. Opposed to both being true-spirited and coming together and communicating with one another and coming to an answer together, opposed to depending on the other one giving an answer that you hope they're going to give, but you just don't want to give it because you don't want to look like, the bad parent. Communication is the biggest thing, and like a lot of people are saying, like, we don't know how to communicate anymore, which is true. We don't, because we constantly have these contraptions in front of our face, and instead of communicating with one another on more of a physical level, talking, we're typing stuff. Anyone, like, you can type anything. And anybody could type what you're typing, or pretend that they can pretend that they're you in that sense. But when you're talking directly to the person, when you're communicating with the person, like I said before, like you get people and they're in the same room together, but instead of like we used to, it didn't matter if somebody was there, if we were having a conversation, we were having a conversation. But it's like when we put it on there, like we say that our conversations are private. I understand that. But the thing is when you're in the same room, you're sitting next to each other. It's like, hey, instead of doing the typing to get on a more intimate level, how about we all just start realizing how to heal ourselves and help each other learn how to heal? Come into our natural abilities and communicate through the heart. They say communicate, some say like communicate through the mind. Okay, you can communicate through the mind, but a lot of psychic attacks are put on through the mind, the mind control. Whereas if you're communicating through love, it's actually admitting and coming in through the heart. I got to work through a lot of negative energy because, as I said, there is still something that I'm working through. And it's that part of the promise you make to yourself. It does. Yeah. Wow. It's like the heart just it opens and you feel others open. Bringing you, and you can actually feel it going from the heart. It goes up the chest and into the throat chakra and up through the center into the third eye up into the crown chakra, up into the higher dimensions, up into the universe. Like right now, I'm feeling it's like a opening and expansion. I actually have a staff that I, well, it's my stick, my staff I use to go walking. Or I just hold it because, like, it helps me to ground, and holding it and just kind of putting your forehead to it, you actually start to channel it. And if you get like earth, lean against a tree, you start to feel different. You start to experience things differently. They say about grounding, I like going and laying on the ground. Sometimes in my home, I feel like I got to get down, and it's like getting down to the ground, that part of grounding. I I went through the Kundalini awakening a hard way. There's easier ways to do it. There's a lot of people now that are learning how to work with the Kundalini so they can help others learn how. And it's a part of coming because once you start, yeah, that's they call it, but it's actually the DNA. You know, I just heard somebody say Tesla coil. So, yeah, sometimes my brain just kind of slows down. A lot of my channeling comes from within the heart and within the body, what have you, because it's actually the universe. So you're bringing in, it's like Tesla said, the receiver. So receiver, and then we channel out. How did I get to where I am now? Well, like I said, I died and I did research, and then I ended up overdosing. This was all like starting like 2019, 2020. I thought the only way I was going to end up like stopping this from happening was to take my life. So I tried taking my life, and then I actually had a really scary experience on the spirit realm, spirit plane, what have you. And let's just say I hollered for God. And when I hollered for God, well, I was experiencing something where it was like tearing me apart. And then all of a sudden, in this hand, I experienced it was like connected with energy, and the whole body started cramping up. And then they were saying it was going through, like, we're going to take her, like, where'd you put her, and what have you. Then when I let go, I hollered for God's help. I hollered, God, help me. And when I hollered, God, help me, it was like a flash on an intense scale, hit me right between the lookers. And when that happened, my body went into a violent vibration, like extremely violent. This was beyond seizure activity. This was like my blood was boiling. Because afterwards, like I was very catatonic. It happened twice. I was like catatonic, and I know. Second time wasn't as bad as the first. And then it was like spirits were like took my hands and put my hands here and kind of laid me up into the bed. I was hearing my cat chattering with the birds. All the while I was smelling what smelled like ham cooking. So that was the night I was sleeping. And it was really like after that, that's when I tried to take my life. And then after that, I started realizing some things. And when I come home, when I was at home and was looking on the internet and was going into more this psychic stuff, Oasis, I believe it was, I went on and it asked like, what would you rather see for yourself? What do you feel you need, like you want to know about? And it was health, because in order for everything else to fall into place, health is the first ingredient. It's that part of being healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in order for you to be able to bring in the abundance, to bring in good things for yourself. Because when you're not healthy, then you tend to look at things a little more negatively because we feel lack of. And I felt a lack of love when I was going through my stuff, big time, especially the last 5 years. Well, it was like in 2019, I ended up going unconscious, and that's how I ended up dying. I ended up going unconscious, and my head smashed. But first, when I went down, my hip smashed into the floor, and the upper part of my body, but when the upper part of my body slammed into the floor, my arm folded over, so it was like I was folded in half, and then my face come down and slammed here, and then my head slammed. But prior to that, I had been going unconscious a lot, like literally being at a stand, and then down I'd go, and my head would hit. Um, when I went down at Costco in 2019, I was experiencing things. I was having a lot of pain in my body here and in my back and just the whole left side. And I was having trouble breathing. I felt like my body was being squashed from the inside, like I could literally feel it squishing. I was spitting up blood sometimes. I was tasting blood all the time in here, and it was like it was in my stomach. I was going back and forth to the doctors. This is why I have no trust in the system, because I was going back and forth to doctors, and because of past medical things that they said that I had in the mental health aspect of it, they wouldn't look at me in that sense. They just say, "Oh, well, you're having anxiety." But when one day I was sitting in the hospital area in the waiting room to go in, and I was having these things happening, it's like a panic. your soul trying to leave, like things trying to leave your body. And sitting there, and I felt like what felt like an air pocket. It was like the air pocket was coming up and coming up and coming up, and then all of a sudden, it was like it popped. And when it popped, because I couldn't breathe. Like it was just all, and there was a couple there that was actually helping me. That was very concerned, and I had a hardness because the ones that I was feeling like should have been the ones there to help me through it, and they're with me. They weren't. They were treating me like I was faking, but I wasn't faking. It was actually dying slowly. So it's like I feel like I don't want to be there for them. And there are times when I feel like I don't care if they're hurting because I felt like they didn't care when it was happening to me. So right now, interference. So it's that sort of finding love and knowing what love actually is. Love is not throwing a bone and like teasing them. What the heck? Well, that was weird. If you're wondering why I was like, because I was hearing something and I thought somebody was leaving and they couldn't leave a message, but for some reason my tablet just started. Like we can still love people from our past. It doesn't mean that we're in love with them in that sense. Because what the heck? No, like I like this was on my no, that was weird. Okay. So I said the like the distractions. Yeah, see, when I talk about this stuff, I don't talk about it to shame the people or guilt the people. It's pointing out that I express my flaws because I am not an easy person to deal with. And nor are these other people that see me as not being easy to deal with. I'm always the problem, but I'm not. It's taking responsibility for our own actions. And it's like, When you love someone, you don't try to suppress them. You don't tell them that they have to suppress themselves. Like when people think that someone's talking to themselves, well, I'm here to tell you, they're actually not talking to themselves. They're talking to spirit. And then when you call someone crazy, no, we shouldn't take offense to it. But it gets tiresome after a while. I'm a little old. That's what it gets. So that's the part, like, when love, when love starts to feel and it starts coming forward, and people start standing up and they're like expressing that feeling. And they just get tired of the way their heart's been treated and misused and abused, that they speak up. Only it doesn't come up gently, because it comes up because it's festered and boiled. It's a part of standing up for the inner child, standing up for the center, being the two spirited, being the masculine and feminine, being both the mother and father, and what have you, one spirit, the mother. Because in most cases, the mother, the feminine energy, takes on all the burdens of the world. And that's why we come off as being crazy. But we're actually not crazy. We're actually experiencing the ones that don't want to experience their own feelings and emotions. And that's why it reflects out in some cases. Not all, but it's that part of enough is enough. And if a woman, a feminine energy really got pissed off, it would be like a mother bear. It would be like a female mother raccoon. They released. They would tear this world apart. And it would be on the ones that caused them so much pain. And if a masculine feels that a feminine causes the pain, then it's that part about being able to feel so that you can come center and balanced with your own feminine spirit, to know that, it's okay to be angry, but keep your fucking hands off people. Don't wish ill on someone. And every time I get on here, this song, a Born Peace. Speaking the truth. And the song is about being born sick and loving it. Well, if you were born sick and you love it, that's entirely up to yourself. But hey, Not everybody looks at it that way. We may feel like we were born sick, but we don't have to remain sick. If you choose to, it's on you. I'm not judging someone for the way that they live. I just like, can you explain to me why? And not just because I want to. What created you to make that decision? We don't want to put up with the system, the bullshit of the system. I understand that. So why go hide? Like why go live somewhere? Why not stand up and take on the system so you can have the opportunities that others have if you feel like you're lacking in that? Or sometimes we just want to be. Because I know sometimes I felt like I just wanted to, like, I'd rather sleep in my car. But it was only because I wanted to get away from all the other shit. And like they're saying about take me in this video, they're saying take me to church. Well, I don't even go to church because I don't believe that the church is being used for the proper purpose that it was meant for. Because it was to teach that, like, we are the church and our temple. And I'm not here preaching because has anybody heard me really recite anything from the Bible? And the stuff in there is a lot of truth to it, but there's a lot missing from it. And a lot of it is in different places. So it's not the story in order. Because it's not just about one person, because as it was said, we're all like. It's like they're saying, show you my sins, and you can sharpen your knife. Well, I know that no one's ever perfect. And I know that people have different past experiences, whether they were aggressed on or whether they were the aggressor. Muy bien. The heart chakra into the chest. It's like feeling a weight lifted up off your chest. It's like I know that the reason why it can, like certain things keep coming up on me, like vomit with this person. I know that it's not that I don't forgive them because I do in that sense, because I could care less. But there's parts of the collective that are still dealing with aspects of certain things. So I know that it's coming out of me on a physical plane to deal with different aspects of it. That's the service to spirit. Yeah, physical spinning around now. it gets pretty tricky. And I'm good with the way I am. And if you feel ashamed of me or you feel humiliated by me to my family members, well, that's on you. And I'm here to say you shouldn't. You should actually be proud of me because I'm actually standing up for myself because I'm actually bringing different things forth, whether it feels like it's bringing stuff forward of my own. Because it is. And if some took the time to actually watch some of my stuff, you might see that I don't just say about other people, I say about myself. And then I go back and watch my own videos because Spirit's giving me advice too. If you're resonating, you're getting through it. It's like if you're not doing anything wrong, you're not doing. Why are you getting humiliated or pissed off at what I said? Everyone's heart, like people's hearts, are bleeding, and if they're bleeding, it means that they're releasing. They're releasing the stuff that doesn't help them. And I need to go back and watch my own stuff because, like I said, Spirit's talking to me. So it's actually Spirit telling me certain things too that I'm not catching myself. I guess self-taught. Well, in that sense, if I'm looking at myself, but it's actually a lot. It's more so the Spirit that's speaking. I feel like cuckoo, cuckoo. It's been cloudy here all day, and the sun is starting to kind of push through because it's like the warmth. Like right now, I'm feeling a rage in some sense. Like it's like we always sometimes we just want to use our hands to show our frustrations because it's trying to release it physically. But like you can actually, it's like scream releases it. And sometimes when I feel like I need to release the pain, because the pain is within myself, like when you scream the extra, this might be a certain factor that could be an adverse effect. But when you have that and you allow it to like scream within, it expands, so it lights it up. The love, the pain, life, it just it lights up the darkness because you're allowing it to experience it. You're allowing it to experience its pain, experience your own pain of what you're feeling, so that you can release it in a healthy way. That's part of the meditation. And you're opening your chakras, you can actually feel the energy move up, but you can actually feel the energy expanding out, and that's when you get the auras. It's energy. Ok, tu seguirás solamente todo, güey. Epiphany, man. like, holy shit, hang on. Like, it gets bumpy, you know? There's times when I go through this and holy crap, it feels like my head is just banging on the inside. It's like I feel like I'm banging my head up against the wall. And I know that like people are experiencing that. Mm, totally. Um, so DSL é come caralho essa coa I know sometimes people would think like, why don't you put headphones in your ears, make it look like you're at least talking on a phone? No, because I don't have to. And it's like, no, don't don't watch me. Like what I'm doing, it shouldn't like why is it bothering you so much? Like whether like I said, whether you understand the language or not, like you're in a store and you have people like somewhere and you have people all around you and they're talking different languages. Are you gonna like want them to shut up because you don't understand their conversation? Whether it's with another person or like with what you appear to be themselves, but it's actually spirit to spirit. Because like it come out the other day, I was talking and it come out my languages and I got a dirty look from the adult. It's like seriously, it's like the kids like it. I sing to the kids like this, and I actually had one like when I was speaking because it's like a kid talking to a kid, and they asked me to sing. They said sing, so I started singing, and then they said to me, "I like your singing because I like your voice." So that was it was very heartwarming because I felt appreciated and I felt understood. Basically, yesterday, and it was the child to the child. Basically, muito criada para isso. E que tu and it was from one star seed to another because all our children are star seeds. We're all star seeds. Only our children are coming in already, like knowing what they're meant to be knowing, and we're the ones that suppress them. Just like right now, a lot of adults, like some adults, they want to try for me to suppress myself. There's one person that like I don't think it really bothers them. It's like when you're trying to show others how to find their way out if they really want to. You can't make someone do it as much as we really want to. It's that part of wanting, willing to receive and accept. And it's not about like helping so much as it is working with someone to teach them how to be able to do it themselves if they want to. It's that pay it forward part. And paying it forward, like doing a pay it forward thing, it doesn't mean funny in that respect. We just think that, everything pertains to money. Go watch the movie In Time. I think Justin Timberlake. Really? Look off. So I love you. He's my tree, he grounds me. But he also bites sometimes and scratches because you can actually see because they're going through the same thing we're going through. And it's like, you little shithead. And and I have a spray bottle. So I just pretend sometimes I got to squirt it. But I don't really cut his nails because he goes out sometimes. And he doesn't climb right up a tree. For the most part, he'll go and he'll run. And he'll go like 5 feet up the tree and turn around and jump back down. Scaredy cat. And I don't think it's so much that he's a scaredy cat. It's just kind of like, because if he gets stuck up a tree, he did one other day. He got up the tree and I was like coaxing him down, like telling him, like go down the same way you came. And he started, and then he proud of himself. So, like, they got brains and they're very intelligent. And they look at us like we're stupid because to them, in a lot of senses, we are. And to them, we're blind because we don't see what they can see for the most part. The thing is, we do like a lot, like sometimes we do actually see it. We just don't realize that that's what we're seeing. So, this book I'm reading, and I'm not saying like I'm not of religion or what have you, but it actually has some stepping stones to get to spirituality because all of it has different teachings. It's a part of like actually being able to read between the lines because a lot of the time they put in a lot of excess stuff that makes things confusing because it's not in proper place. It's like a filing cabinet that had somebody put files in wrong, or it was a filing cabinet that exploded and everybody got different parts of it. So trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So if you take them all and you put them all together and you look on each aspect, you will get the actual truth of it all, because everything is manipulated to. We all do it. We manipulate it to what we want our narrative to be, whether it be a book or actions or spoken or what have you. We've all done it at least once in our life. Oh, most definitely. Can I give an example right now? No? And that's probably because I just forgot about what the topic was. Yeah, it's like trying to close off. Maybe I said that real quick. It's like a line. What you just say? Um, No, I know why. It's because it's moving. Whatever it was, I actually answered it. It's just kind of like uh, I will be honest, when this happens, sometimes it can be better than an orgasm. It's like a release, which you put a, yeah, it's cool. Told ya! Nisikureai! Nisikureai! Right? So it come here. Asukureai. Isikum. Isukuriata. You went down? There you go. You're welcome. Yes, I do. But I have the ability to not do it, depending on how I'm feeling. But it's like I can turn it on. No, I'm not always. I usually don't because I know that if I'm experiencing it, or if I'm hearing it, or if I'm feeling it, or what have you, I'm meant to be. So I just allow it to happen as it happens. And I used to try to overthink it, try to understand why I'm experiencing things I'm experiencing, and I know it's because it's like I might be going to physical university, but I'm also in Earth University. We're graduating, and we've already got through it, all of us. It's just that part of waking up now and knowing that we did, so we can take our graduation hats and say, "Yeah!" They say we fail, but we only if we fail. A lot of time it can be because we really it can be because we chose to, because we didn't put that effort in, because it became comfortable, become familiar, and it's like I find it hard to get, like I say, get into it. I find it hard to get into a routine because, like, if I had, like, I have a choice, but right now it's bringing in the means of being able to do it because I want to just I want to see different places to learn more on the actual experience, the actual experience, yeah, to travel, but just and be able to talk with other people that understand on a higher level of what is I'm experiencing. So I can actually understand myself in different ways, even though I know what I'm experiencing. It's kind of being able to get the physical evidence of what I'm experiencing. even though it's coming out in certain ways. It's like there's a lot of people out there like me that are experiencing things. Everybody's on a different level or what have you, at different spots or periods of their awakening and experiences. It's like, do people really think that I don't feel like I'm on a fucking roller coaster? But I know what the roller coaster ride is like. And I know how to ride the waves, well, ride the hoops and loops. Even if I do look like a basket case. It's that part of being able to release the energy, like the earth has energy within it. It's releasing that energy. The sun has energy within it, which releases that energy. The universe, everything has its energy. Spirit is energy. We are energy. And that's why we come off being weak or intense. This person said that you can't take back what you say. No. Maybe you can't take back words that you say. But there are things that we can do to change the meaning and the outcome of those words. Because actions, well, they speak louder than words. Kielä totuuden. Se mikä totu kiemessä kujaa, että totu. Kirja totu. Älä pyrkiä totu missä jäi. And I'm very aware of what I go through. And I explain it. And, I can't help it if you don't understand what I'm explaining. Dice que era que venían tocó y tragedia es. Someone told me the other day. Go get a job. Because I'm on a disability. Because it feels like a roller coaster and I'm constantly channeling and they won't hire me because of that. So because of my spiritual beliefs, because of my abilities, and because I won't suppress them, I don't get a job. So I gotta, go learn something, go learn stuff so I can become my own entrepreneur, my own boss, and I can say, hey, I can work how I work. If I want to speak like this, then the people who enjoy hearing me speak like this and find it beneficial to them, then they will be the ones to gravitate towards me. Because I know I need money to live. I just like, sometimes it's that part of, I'd rather, in some cases, not make money, but just be able to have the time to help people. I don't want to go flip burgers. And it's not because I'm too proud or anything like that, because I was a cleaner. I just don't want to feed burgers. Like, I don't want to feed what I feel to be toxic food. I ate an Impossible Burger from Burger King a couple times. Like, since, like, once when we had the eclipse, and then like a week after that. But that was just something that, my inner child was calling for. And it was like, okay, time to detox, get that out of the body, because it was just like, you realize what it really tastes like. It may, like, if you, I can see the addiction part of it, of why it would keep you coming back, because it's not so much the burger itself as it is what they put into it to promote that wanting to come back, that rush for the taste buds. Siento todo eso. Ahorita. Muchas gracias, Rueda Moreta, Torilla, Toya. No, not a puppet. No, because I can refrain from bursting out. But there's times when I know not to refrain. So it's like knowing when to say something and when to just, whatever. But sometimes you get that feeling in here and it's just like, but that's, like I said, that's the spirit. The spirit. Those two spirits have something that they're dealing with. Di sicurezza, turisti, io tutto isso adesso. Right now, I'm feeling a lot of releases. It's like you feel the expansion of collective traumas letting go, anger being lifted. I just heard the resentment. Yes, and childhood abandonment issues, just abandonment issues, in it's it's okay to feel the way you feel, like I said. And my youngest son, he had it right with his young fellow, his son, his stepson. He told him it's okay to be angry. It's okay to get angry. You just don't hit people. Because if you notice, like when a lot of anger happens, rage happens, it's not just the person. It's not just one person that it affects when it becomes a physical altercation. Because if you're in a rage, you're losing control. So sometimes it's not just you don't just it's not just ending up hurting that one person. You're hurting a number of other people. And I know at that moment when you're enraged, you feel like you don't care. But that's a part where we need to take responsibility for whatever actions we take. And we don't want to. No, I'm not a bleeding heart. I'm just speaking common sense. Yeah. My body is just going through something. It's like when anxiety lifts. Psiquiatra é doido, é muito it's right now I'm just sort of feeling and shifting energy within myself in that sense. Sometimes it like it can connect with others or I'm connecting with someone else in that moment. People that don't understand this right now will like usually wonder like what are you doing? Like I said, it's moving energy, it's connecting with the balance of your body, connecting with yourself, your own energies. That's the awareness. Should I kiss it? Yes, my eyes do go for those one lines. And that's because of like energy's awakening. It's energized. That's why like you'll see like cats when they get excited, sometimes the energy just comes in on them and their pupils just go and expand and it's like their eyes get bug-eyed. It's more awareness and it's because you're beginning to see through the beginning to see through the eye. But not only the eye here, but you're seeing through the eye here. So we're having the connection. Yes, I echo yeah. So, yes, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And I'm not always easy to handle. It's like, I don't know, don't try to understand me, just experience it. But, you know, it's like that. It's hard to tell why I exist. It's like pinch me. Okay? My skin's pulling. So right now my physical body is here. But it's like it's an avatar, or is it just an illusion that I'm pulling my skin? Ganito talaga sa ano yung bis ko libre ka sa susuri nito kahit ay isa ka yato yata holy crap man ah it's like right there it was like a oh so there's the coolest yeah I'm just shifting into shifting yeah yeah I think yeah I'm feeling it right here yeah yeah right now I'm working on like within my body right here I felt like a tightness and it's like it's like someone's paralyzed. Ah, yeah, good. Yeah. It's like the injury in the side of the body. So it could be, it's like, it's connected with my energy, but I'm getting that somebody else, I just heard somebody had a car accident and it smashed the left side of the collarbone. Ah, sige, tutuloy. The bones were in the heart. So it was Okay. Holy shit, man. Get it. Okay. That's where I was getting spit up. Yeah. See, when we start uploading, we start understanding what happened to ourselves. And I was getting that the aspect of myself that like went on conscious and went to the floor. What ended up happening is it smashed the collarbone, and that would explain why I couldn't hold my head up. So it smashed the collarbone, and a piece went in the heart, and that would explain why I felt like an air pocket going through and then exploding. Great. That would explain all the back pain. See, when I hear like it's just whatever happens, and this was just a big realization and epiphany for me to understand what I was experiencing. Because I know that at one point when I overdosed in 2020, I know that I was feeling the effects of what would have been a stroke because the left side of my body would just kind of droop down and the left side of my face was drooping. And then when I started listening to, when I got in contact with this place and said about health, I went to bed that night because I paid for like a reading and what have you, and I paid for like a sound. And it was weird because I went to bed and through the night I woke up like I could hear. I was in my room and I could in bed and I could hear what sounded like shamanic drumming. So I was kind of confused because they didn't have anything on. I went out and there was nothing out there. And I went and laid back down. I could hear shamanic drumming. It's happened to me a few times, a few different times. And I started realizing, like, okay, like I understood that, okay, something was bringing me something because it was actually helping my body. Then I started listening to frequencies. I started doing some meditation, but the form of meditation that I was doing a lot of was I was spending a lot of time out in nature walking and just talking about things. And then the downloads would come in, and I realized like I have the knowledge of what happened in different time frames of the now, different realms, dimensions, what have you. And discreto, yeah, because I said dimensions. Yeah. Yep. Physically. It's like we move so fast energetically that it's like, okay, you realize something, now we're moving on. It's like you've got through that. You got through it, you worked through it and got through it. So you're gonna move on to the next chapter. So look at it that way. Because once upon a time it's actually about a storybook that this young boy who started reading this, like it was like trying to understand something beyond what we were seeing and what we felt to be the physical aspect of stuff, and not being able to see beyond that. I have my bikini on, and um, so I've been feeling a lot today as I've been talking. I've been feeling a lot of the heart chakra movie. If you're writing and I don't respond to you, I do apologize for that. I don't have my glasses on, and a lot of time when I get into the state of just bringing things forward and channeling and what have you, it just starts putting forward. Um, yeah, somebody just said, I don't know if she reads the comments. What do I do to detox? I I was using diatomaceous earth some, but I've switched over a lot. Like I don't eat red meat or meat. Like the meat that I eat is fish, and I'll eat eggs, and then I'll eat more or less fruit and vegetables. Sometimes nuts. I rarely eat junk food. I drink water, but as far as doing something specific, I don't, because it's not the detoxing the body is actually detoxing on a more of a spiritual level, because when you start detoxing on the spiritual level, then your diet starts changing, so then your body becomes more used to what you're putting into it, because it becomes wanting more of the high vibrational foods. I don't take a lot of vitamins. I just I run a lot on energy, and sometimes if I eat, it's more or less to try to ground myself. I don't eat a lot of junk food. Once in a while, I'll have my bender on ice cream, which is usually coconut ice cream. I buy those. I buy chips. I buy carrot chips. Um, I eat a lot of salt. I You can use Celtic or Himalayan sea salt. I use Himalayan sea salt. Because well, where our body is salt and water. It's like, when you go to the hospital and they say about you being dehydrated or what have you, what did they put in your arm? They put in saline. What's saline? Saline is salt and water. But see, we don't realize that. And then they have that movie Castaway when he's drinking the salt water and he's talking to the ball. And they say he's hallucinating. Yes, he's holding the ball. But in a sense, he's manifesting a companion for himself, where to us it looks like a ball or not. It's they could say that you're going crazy. Well, yes, like anything. Like if there's a limitation for everything, but it's like, think of, is magnesium and sodium pretty close to the same thing? Because don't they say use Epsom salts, and Epsom salts has magnesium in it? So wouldn't that like have a healing purpose as well? So it's just the salt. A lot of people who live by the ocean, their nasal, like their whole innate is better, because think of when you're doing one of those nasal cleanses or what have you. What's in it? It's mainly saline. It's salt and water. So your body is requiring a certain degree of salt. Table salt, no. The white table salt, no. Like that's toxic. That stuff is like it is toxic. It actually does create problems within your body because of what's actually in it. If you look, it's got a lot of more chemical additives to it. How many eggs do I eat? A lot of the time I'll eat 4 eggs a day. Sometimes, depending on the day, I eat. I've eaten 8 in one day, and people say, "Oh, well, the yolks are good for cholesterol." Okay. Well, you know, if I worried about everything that I put in my body, I'd be eating nothing because everything we put in our body has some form of poison on it. It's it's knowing. I just heard somebody say organic. It's organic, but just think of the transportation of it, what it's exposed to during transportation. I heard, yeah, got a point. Yes, it is. Yeah, um, yeah, I just had a release there. Black walnut. You can get it in a capsule. Black walnut actually helps. You can get it in the liquid form too, because I have it in the liquid form. Oh, and there's actually, sometimes I'll use activated charcoal. That's basically activated charcoal. They're in a recipe that I have. It's called a Black Moon detox drink, and it consists of just one sec. Right? It consists of 1 cup of uh, water, preferably purified water, a tablespoon of lemon juice, a half a tablespoon of syrup, maple syrup, and oh no, sorry, a tablespoon and a tablespoon of lemon juice, a teaspoon, a teaspoon of syrup, and a half a teaspoon of activated charcoal. You can actually get those in some grocery stores right now, especially like if they have a pharmacy. But you can get activated charcoal. It comes in like a thing like that. You can actually use activated charcoal for toothpaste and everything, like making your own stuff. I didn't do that yet, but I get the toothpaste with charcoal in it without fluoride in that. But one day I'd like to make my own toothpaste, but I want it to have some flavor. I used to use just baking soda, and it was disgusting, but it was salty, and it actually it felt good afterwards because the salt's back in my body. But yeah, that drink there, and a pinch of Himalayan sea salt, and just stir it up, put it in crushed ice, and you have your detox drink. It energizes your body, and it will help you to go to the bathroom. But I do use that sometimes. I tried eating chocolate bars before, but like after you don't eat them for so long, you actually taste the real flavor of them. Your taste buds actually change too. Um, Me and a friend, we were at a restaurant and we got spring rolls, and I tasted the spring roll, and like gross. This tastes like ashes. So it's like that part of like when you go, if you make your own food, like it's not, maybe it's not an illusion, but it's an illusion however you make it. But it was really gross. And then I went to another restaurant, like another food place, and I got a spring roll and I tasted it and it tasted like ashes. So it was like really like gross. It left a bitter taste. It left a horrible taste in my mouth. And I used to smoke. Yeah, I quit in 2008. I took Tampax. And let's just say that was a trip and a half. I took it for 10 weeks. And at the same time, I was taking Tampax, which actually gives you like really can give you bad dreams and make your body off and stuff like that. I had busted a mercury bulb and I was sweeping it up so the vapors got in my face. So I was having a lot of problems from that on top of it. But when I used Tampax, within 8 days, I was like not wanting to smoke at all because it made the cigarettes taste gross. Oh yeah, like it weans you off it. By the 14th day, I wasn't smoking no more, but I took it for 10 weeks so that I knew that I wasn't going to go back. And I'll tell you, like anybody that says that, like after they smoke, that they don't have cravings, in most cases, that's worse poop. Because here I am now, and sometimes it's like I get a quick craving, but I know it's that aspect of that addiction that's trying to, it's like a trigger. But when you have that, usually it only lasts for a few seconds, sometimes a minute. It's just allowing yourself to get past it and finding a new distraction today. So yeah, yo creo que tu besa. Yeah. Just like consider it's the balance. Like it's being able to come to the heart, being able to like feel it, allow yourself feel it and stop. Like we're cold, we get bitter, we get cold. Sometimes we open up, but then when something happens to us again, we get cold and we think that everything's like that because it's been happening like that. But it's something that we need to change within ourselves. We need to change our own belief systems of realizing that, hey, just because this person says it's this way, it doesn't mean that it's that way. Why can't it be a different way? Something that fits for you. Actually, some stuff after I speak, I bring it forward in English. And, a lot of people like to refer to the biblical sense in there. Do you not remember they were talking about speaking in tongues so they knew what each other were saying? I had someone from the church tell me, God don't use that language no more. Who are you to say that God don't use that language no more? What? Because you got a book that says it doesn't happen? God never stopped using it. The systems told you you had to stop using it because of what it was about and what it represented. Everybody came here for a different reason. Everybody came here with their unique abilities. Somebody that from another country that doesn't know how to speak English, are you going to tell them, can you transfer, can you translate that to a real world? Who are you to say that like, I'm not in the real world? Because a lot of people, it's not about understanding it per se, is understanding the language, as it is about the feeling behind it, the experience, the energy. But there are a lot of people out there that do understand, whether they understand on a subconscious level or a conscious level. I live in the real world. Some just live in the illusion because they want to say that what I'm doing is wrong or what I'm experiencing is wrong. So it's like, hey, I'm not being rude to you. I'm just saying, who are you to come into my channel and tell me about translate the real world? You're not living in the real world no more, and I'm not living in the real world. We're all living in a real world, a world that we created of our own. And right now, when we go into each other's energy, we're infringing on each other's world. So you're stepping into my space, but you're like, the way you talk or say something of insulting, as if to say that I'm not living in the real world. Am I offended by this? No. I just have the question of like, why is your world any more real than mine? Because people living in my world, they understand just because they're not in my physical field. I said, when I'm talking, this is a spirit to spirit. I'm experiencing ancient spirits that are coming forward, hence the language. Just because you don't like, just because some don't understand it, these spirits are understanding each other. And they're in the real world. The world you think is the real world is actually the illusion. And we're just forced to feel like we have to live in it. It's freeing your mind from what you think is being the real world. You've heard of like green screens. You've heard of like, you tell people that do magic, well, that's just an illusion. So, with all that being said, I want to thank anyone and everyone who came in. You did likes or shares or what have you, gave gifts, what have you. Thank you very much. That's not what I came here for. I just hope that everyone has gotten at least one thing out of this. And even if it was a laugh at me, at least it made you laugh. So I'm going to read my cards.
Saturday.
If there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. If there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. If there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. If there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self, be true to yourself, be true to others. When being yourself, be who you are, not who somebody says you are or you have to be. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and know that you are more powerful and you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. Sending you all love and wishing you all a great weekend. Stay centered and balanced. And ground this weekend because we're getting some shit coming in. Love you. Oh,